We rolling. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tim back at it again with another vid. And today, or no, I meant to say it like welcome back to Talk to 'em Thursdays. Um, I was debating on whether or not I should name it Tim Talk to 'em Thursdays or just Talk to 'em Thursdays. I don't know. But just something to kind of name what I'm doing. What I mean? Since I came up with the idea to do these messages, whether it's life advice or whether it's biblical messages, yeah, just kind of putting the name on it right now. And then what I mean, I'm excited because for one, today, uh today's third yes so today's Thursday, right? So yeah, I'm excited because today I'm about to go to the Tobin Center to see my brother uh sing a solo for the first time. um After today, I think out of all of us, it would just be me and Jay who's ever done a solo. I'm waiting on Matt. I'm waiting on Matt to do a solo. Uh, you know, you know, um, he was asked to. I don't even remember the guy, dang, which is crazy. But he was asked earlier this month to perform for today for a Juneteenth event. I forgot the name of that too, which is crazy. But yeah, Juneteenth event. Yeah, it's not just gonna be him. No, it's gonna be him. It's gonna be certain choirs or different people all joining in for a choir. I think they said Sounds of Blackness also. So it's gonna be a good evening. But yeah. So today, what we talking about? I kind of wanted to go back to the basics. In school, you know how in school, right? You have you gotta learn the basics before you can go to more advanced classes. Like, I'm gonna just go to high school. Like, you know how you go from basic math to things like algebra 2 or algebra, right? You know how you go from basic reading and basic writing to uh what's an advanced English class? I think they just did like English 2 or something. But yeah, English 2 or uh what other I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. English 2. Basic class like basic science, right? To classes like anatomy or physics or chemistry, right? Uh Social studies. So yeah, basic social studies to classes like African American studies or world geography or Texas history or US history, you know what I mean? Before, which is what I should have done from the beginning, but now I'm kind of realizing like, oh, how am I gonna teach y'all these things? I'm not faulting myself, but you know what I mean, like to get to apply these more, I guess I can say, complex things that I speak on in the Bible, we got to get to the basics first. We got to get to, what I mean, like people who are becoming believers, you know what I mean, or trying to become a believer. Like, hey, yo, how do we do it? You know what I mean? And so I had came up with kind of like this um, run of like different subjects um, throughout this. So this is not the only one that I'm speaking of on. Um, these different things that you have to try to apply to your life, like the most basic things, you know what I mean? So yeah. So today we speaking on the 10 commandments, you know what I mean? Like I said, the basic things that all believers should really know, you know what I mean? you know if not the actual commandments, you should know that there's 10, you know what I mean? Like, this is things that off rip you should be able to just, okay, bet, cool, there's 10 commandments. I know, I may not know all of them, but I know a few of them, you know what I mean? uh so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into that. um next week next week we're talking about salvation. Like when people come up to you and they're like, Tim, how do I get saved? How do I, what I mean? We're talking about that next week, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, share with all your people so we can all have a good time. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So how I'm gonna lay this out, since it's, how I'm gonna lay this out is I'm gonna just read the verses off rip, And then just to make it more clear, I actually went. So I'm reading in the NIV version first off, just to make it more clear for me to know what I'm talking about, but then also for y'all too. And then also, uh, I got on my notes. I got on my notes the actual commandments as well. So once I get done with the actual verses, I'll go ahead and go through them. This video should probably be a little bit short because it's basic. I'm just kind of running through the commandments, and then from there kind of giving a few examples and definitions. Um and when I had looked this subject up, because like I said, I have to go to Google sometimes for some of these different uh subjects, right? And so to remember, because I'm not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I read the Ten Commandments part of the book of the Bible, right? So I was like, bet, let me just go ahead. But then as I was coming up with this idea, I was like, yeah, I got to give y'all a little bit of context first. This is when, I don't know how long after, but this was right after, or a significant time after, the Israelites were freed from slavery from Egypt, right? This was when Moses and Aaron, they, I mean, was it Aaron? Yeah, it was Aaron. Yeah. Um, they and God, of course, they freed the Israelites from Egypt out of slavery. You know what I mean? And speaking of Moses, which is speaking of Moses, which is crazy. I don't know how long ago I got this shirt, right? I might have to back up. Hold on. It's kind of like a little joke, for people who get it though. I understand if you don't get it. But yeah, which is crazy. I had got this shirt a long time ago, right? And I was reading it because I was figuring out what I was gonna wear for Sunday. Because I already know what I'm wearing for tomorrow or today, and then well, I'm not doing anything Friday, so yeah, Saturday, Sunday, so yeah, Sunday, and I was like, yeah, I could fool around and wear this shirt again, right? I ain't got my glasses on. That was crazy, but it says Moses, first man with a tablet who downloaded data from the cloud, which is crazy. This exact situation, which is crazy now that I'm thinking about it, that's what that means. You know what I mean? From the cloud, also known as, God. Downloaded data from that. So downloaded the Ten Commandments, wrote, put them on a rock, you feel me? And then, which is crazy. That's wild. As soon as I ended this kind of study of this situation, of this part of the Bible, I had was looking at this shirt and I was like, hey, yo, that's exactly what I'm talking. Crazy. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it on the popping. I'm gonna read 1 through 17 of, oh wait, no, okay, so we're gonna be speaking from the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2 through 17. Uh or no, verse 1 through 17, just to kind of give y'all a little bit of context as where they are, you know what I mean? And yeah. So I'm gonna put my glasses on for this one. I took them off because there was a little bit of a glare coming from the sun. I'm gonna take them off like right after I read the verse, but I need, what I mean, blind. But yeah. So we can start from 1. And God spoke all these words: I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. 7. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. 8. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. 11. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. 12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God has given you. 13. You shall not murder. 14. You shall not commit adultery. 15. You shall not steal. 16. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. And then lastly, 17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Yeah. So 1 through 17, this is kind of like the rundown thing that God was giving the Israelites, like right after, if not a significant time after they were freed from slavery. These are things to apply in your, like as a believer, apply in your life. So it's like, you know what I mean, basic things to apply in your life before we even get to the more complex things of like, like I spoke on patience, uh, spoke on relationships, more complex things like that. Got to get back down to the basics, and I'm gonna kind of run through them to kind of, what I mean. So yeah, so bet starting off with the first one, you shall have no other gods before me. I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory, right? If you're a believer, you shouldn't be speaking on, if I can think of you know, if you're a believer, you shouldn't be speaking on other gods like, uh, dang, like Buddha, like, what I mean, like Confucius. I know, like, what was it? Like Allah, right? If you're gonna be a believer, you shouldn't have any of those other gods in your, what I mean. You feel me? Oh wait, let me take these off. But yeah. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna move on from that. You shall not make any idols, or technically have any idols also, right? So what that means, right, is like trying to think of like a real world idol. So like, how some people, I know it's not a lot of people, but some people, they do like this, like they have these rocks on them and they think that these rocks bring them energy or give them energy, or do like they're saying things like, I'm very spiritual, and have these rocks on them. That's kind of like they give off different energies. You know what I mean? That's idol worship. What's another one? What's another one? You're oh yeah. So like I'm a Sagittarius, right? But that's it. Like that's, what I mean. Some people will actually base their whole life or make life decisions, or what I mean, apply what they know of these different what do they call them? Signs, as like a, kind of like a little spiritual, kind of like, okay, bet cool. Which is crazy because mainly online, but I have seen this in real life. Like people will be like, oh yeah, like what's your sign? And automatically, which is crazy, what's your sign? And I'm gonna just say mine. I'm a Sagittarius, and they'll be like, oh no, nah, bro, like y'all is weird for real. What does that mean? Like, what honestly, what does that mean? What, other than the fact, oh my God, other than the fact that I am a Sagittarius, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Another form of idol worship. You basing your whole life, you're applying these things or things other than God. And it's, what I mean? A part of the verses that I was saying was God is a jealous God. So like off rip, you shouldn't like, nah, so yeah, doing these, he probably be like, hey yo, like, that's not that's not what that you so yeah. Anyways, moving on. Number 3, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. So in vain. So like just blurting it out, or um doing things like, I used to do this a lot too. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but like anytime I was caught between, or caught in a lie, or caught in some other situation, right? And like somebody would ask me like, hey yo, did you do this? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, bro, did you do this? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, put it on something. And I would be like, I swear to, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Um, yeah, nah. You're not supposed to do that. Any form of that. So like, basically saying it vain, but like saying it like, but like that, like um, saying it with no meaning. I guess I can say saying it, but like it's kind of like, hey yo, like nah, you know what I mean? Like that's not cool. You know. Moving on. Number four, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, the Sabbath day also meaning the seventh day that he rested from, uh creating the world, right? Creating the universe, right? So for 6 days, I mean, he created pretty much everything. Then on the seventh day, he rested, right? For the longest amount of time, I thought it was Sunday. I thought it was Sunday. Uh, Technically, I've heard this, so don't quote me. I've heard this, but don't quote me, right? But I heard that it was actually on Saturday, right? So technically Saturday is like the seventh day of the week. Once Saturday ends, Sunday, the first day of the fall of the next week. Yeah. So I believe so. Well, yeah. So I think it's Saturday. I might be wrong, but yeah. But remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Basically, what that means is you shouldn't be doing any type of work. You shouldn't be mentally, even if we want to get like real technical, you shouldn't even be thinking about, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow to, to help out with my career. Saturday or whichever day, you know what I mean? That should be the rest day. The same as how God rested from creating the universe, the same way that on that certain day you should be able to chill out, rest, and just, what I mean, rehabilitate for the week to come. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. You know what I mean? The same way that God rested on that day is the same way that you should rest on that day. Um, yeah. So yeah, moving on. Number five, honor your father and your mother. Really self-explanatory. Listen, these are people who have lived longer than you. They are a lot more wise. They carry a lot more wisdom than you. So oftentimes when you hear them ask or asking you to do something and you think it don't make sense, you should listen anyways. Because it's kind of like well, yeah, you should listen anyways, right? Because you don't know what they've been through, and they probably been through more stuff than you. So listen to them, take in the wisdom that they give to you, so then you could possibly, or you could be in that position to tell your kids to, what I mean. It's the same way that it's the same way on how I think I was speaking on this last week about the relationship with you and God, right? Where God tells you to go is not always going to make sense, right? He's going to tell you to go left and you look left and it don't look right. So out of your human eyes, out of your human mind, you thinking, oh yeah, nah, I'm not feeling that way. But God is telling you go that way, right? So it's like the same way, but throughout the looks of it, it could be paradise. Let's just say that. Throughout the looks of it, it could be paradise. And the right way might look good, but like as soon as you get further down, you feel me? It's hell, right? It's it's trash. You know, lean out on your own understanding. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, the same way how that works, how you should lean not on your own understanding, but God, is the same way that you should honor your father and your mother, knowing that they've lived longer than you, knowing that they're a lot more wise than you. They've been through more situations than you. Even if it don't make sense, what I mean, you should listen to them. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be speaking bad about them. What I mean? You know what I mean? I used to take this to heart. Matter of fact, let me go back to this verse so I could kind of uh so it says 17 or 12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land of the Lord your God has given you. Right? So I used to take that to heart. I used to be like, oh, we're gonna live longer. Back when I was a kid, didn't really, you get what I'm saying? I was like, we get to live longer because of that. Like, oh, crazy. But yeah, that's wild now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, yeah. So apply these things, most def. We got number six. I mean, this kind of obvious though. You shall not murder, which is crazy because this is a worldly law and then a biblical law too. And honestly, when you're born into this life, you should automatically kind of know, like, hey, yo, these things that's being taught by your parents, like, hey, yo, what are you doing? Don't kill nobody. Obviously, you know what I mean? Oh, wait, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Don't, nobody, you feel me? Uh, yeah, self-explanatory. Don't do that. You know what I mean? These are lives that God has made. So why are you taking it away? You know what I mean? Really, the only person that should be people that should, or yeah, person that should be able to take away those lives is God. You feel me? So don't do it. Don't do it. That's the obvious one. Number 7, you shall not. You shall not commit adultery. Also known as like also known as you're in a marriage, and you're entertaining, I guess I can say, somebody who's not in that, marriage, right? So marriage would be two people, right? Two people that you with, or two people that are together. If you stepping outside of that to meet with this third person and doing what you're doing, that's adultery, and that's wrong. You should not be doing that. Really, which is crazy because it's frowned upon in the worldly view. You know what I mean? People make shows of people doing this, you know what I mean, of you know, it's an actual like prank, but then it's like if you do this, it's kind of like, you know what I mean, like relationship ended, you know what I mean? So it's like it's frowned upon in the worldly view, but it's also frowned upon in the biblical, you know, in the biblical view too, right? So like I said, they make these shows of people actually being on this type of activity, getting caught, and then ultimately ending the relationship, right? So it's even frowned upon in the worldly view also, right? So yeah, you think of those two things and it's like, okay, bet cool. Maybe I shouldn't do this. If I'm in a relationship and I'm fully committed in that relationship, nah, you shouldn't be on that type of time into where you looking at other people and you like, all right, I wanna be with her. I wanna be with her. I wanna be with him. I wanna be with him. Like, nah. You feel me? Nah. So yeah, moving on. Number 8, you should not steal. I don't even gotta give an example. I could just, I done spoke on this a long time ago, or on one of the later vids where I was doing this stealing, right? Whether it's, I mean, pickpocketing people or whether it's like actual burglary. Once again, frowned upon in the worldly view, but then also frowned upon in the biblical view. If you do things like burglary, you will be sent to jail. The same with murder, you will be sent to jail. If you keep doing these things like stealing and murdering and really any of these if you go against these commandments, ultimately you will be sent to hell, right? uh so like I said, frowned upon on both sides, so it's wrong if it's frowned upon on both sides, you feel me? uh yeah, briefly, what I mean, back in school, I used to make a habit out of doing it. Almost went to jail doing it too. You know what I mean? And then yeah, I think I spoke on it on the earlier vid that I did. But yeah, you know what I mean? Make sure you check it out. But yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, don't do that. You know what I mean? And really you should go in, like if you even think about doing that, right? You should go in with the mindset of like, I wouldn't want nobody to do this to me. Let's just say you holding on to something important. Like it don't even have to be just money. It could be like a piece of jewelry that your mom left you or your dad left you or any, something. And then you find out that it's missing and somebody stole it. You would not feel good about that, right? And so it's like going into possibly seeing a opportunity. You're looking at that opportunity and you like, parole, like this a easy job, like I could fool around and take all of this. You should be able to look back in your mind and be like, I wouldn't, what if that was all my stuff? What if that was my stuff that I was taking, and then it's like, or that was taken, and then I come back to find out that it's all gone, you know what I mean? It's not a good look. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't steal. Do not steal, right? um Number 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, also known as lying. You shall not lie, right? You shouldn't be lying on people. You shouldn't be lying about a situation, even if it's a smaller lie, like a white lie or whatever. Lying in general is frowned upon. Now, you wouldn't go to jail for this, but I'm saying, well, technically, in a certain situation, like if you're aiding a fugitive, I think that's how they say it, like, and you're lying about where you were at or where they were at, and they're asking you, you could possibly be thrown in jail with that person. You feel me? So yeah, even then, lying on people, like I'm trying to think of a situation like, oh, bet cool. Your girl is asking your friend where you was at Friday night. I'm gonna just this random. Your girl is asking your friend about where you was at Friday night, and your friend is telling your girl, "Oh yeah, he was with me," even though he even though he was at the crib and you were at somebody, at another shorty crib, right? You lying on somebody, right? uh or you just lying. I'm gonna just give an example. I'll just use the same situation. Your girl is asking you now. Your girl is asking you, where was you at on Friday? And like I said, you was at another shorty crib, but you say, oh yeah, I was at the basketball game, or I was at church. Church is crazy. Now that I'm thinking, but yeah, I was at church, or I was at the basketball game, or I was at the park. You know what I mean? Although you were at another shorty crib, right? Nah, you feel me? So lying on somebody, lying to somebody about a certain situation. Once again, I'm guilty of this also. I used to be, and not a flex, by the way. This is not a flex. I used to be an avid liar, bro. Like, not any chance that I get, but any chance I was caught in a situation that I couldn't get out of without doing it, I did. I lied about, what I mean, certain situations, like somebody will be like, "You doing good in school?" Knowing dang well I wouldn't. I would be like, "Nah." I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm doing good in school, like straight A's, straight C's and D's and F's." You crazy? Uh, not all the time, not all the time, but mainly like in middle school, high school kind of time. But you get what I'm saying. Uh, I would do that. I would lie about going to tutoring. Like I said, that one time, that one story that I was telling y'all about stealing, I was supposed to go to tutoring or band practice. Either way, I was supposed to be somewhere else. Ended up lying about that. You feel me? Like, which because it's crazy, because when you do these things, it could possibly put you in a, in an even in a worse problem, right? So like, you're getting, imagine you lying whole time and you get caught in that lie between multiple people. Now you got a whole bunch of people that know that you was lying, looking at you in the same situation, and it's kind of like, ah, you know what I mean? Like, yo, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? So don't lie. Do not lie, because it could put you in a worse situation than than what you were in, right? So yeah, 10th and final one. Now I had to define this one a little bit because I forgot the actual like meaning of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is the 10th and final one. You shall not covet. And you shall not covet. Or I can just go to the verse. Um, You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So basically, what it means is to have an intense, unlawful, or inordinate desire for something that belongs to someone else, right? So, like, that's why, which is crazy because I wasn't even thinking of this when I was speaking on that. But I was like, that's why it's dangerous to compare your life with somebody else or other people's lives, because you think of it so much that now you're thinking, I wish I had that. And it turns into something that's kind of like, you kind of feel it whole time. It kind of turns into things like jealousy, like, oh, I hate that you have that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you looking at that other person and you like, nah, I want that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Crazy. So you shouldn't, basically, when it means like intense, it turns into something worse than what it already is, right? So like I said, you shouldn't compare your life with other people, right? because it could that feeling that you have could possibly turn into what you're feeling the whole time. From the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep, it's like you're thinking, I wish I was in that position. I wish that was me. I want that. I hate that you have that, and I wish that was me. You're actually having these hateful feelings because of the fact that you're comparing. You feel me? Like you shouldn't. That's basically what that means. Have an intense, unlawful, inordinate desire for something that belongs to someone else. Even something as simple as like, oh, I wish I had that house. I hate that you have that house. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, that because that could possibly turn into something that turns into something else. I hate that you have that. And so the fact that you do have that, I'm obsessed with having that. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that you don't have that. And I have what you have. So that leads to things like, oh, I hate that you have that. So steal. I'm gonna steal what you have. Or it could be like, I hate that you have that. And so I'm a you and then take what you have. You feel me? It turns into something worse than what it already is. You feel me? So, nah, you should not covet. Do not compare your life with other people. Do not do that because it turns into that. Then it turns into something far worse than what you was already. You feel me? Um, yeah. So yeah. Um, and I'm gonna speak on this, and then so yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the commandments. Just so, I'm gonna speak on this, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Uh, yeah, there was a there was something that I had ended up saying earlier this year where I was like, we all fall short. Yes, we all fall short. Like I said before, or in this vid, I've fallen short, right? And I was in a situation to where I was stealing and almost went to jail. You know what I mean? So I've fallen short. These are not things that it's like if you do it, you're automatically cooked. Like, nah. But you shouldn't go in or you shouldn't go into life thinking, okay, bet cool. I have unlimited grace. Well, you do. But dang, don't try to justify it though, right? So like I did it and I'm gonna continue doing it, but then it's like I have unlimited grace, and so I could be able grace and mercy, so I should be able to do it and then go back to God and he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and then going back to that's not how that works. Because it's gonna get to a point to where it all add up, and once judgment day come and you sitting like right there and God is looking through everything that you did, or no, not Jesus is going through everything that you doing, and it's like, nah, which is crazy. You did this, you did that, you did this, and then came back and was not. You feel me? It could add up, right? So don't apply these things in your life to be able to ultimately stop them, not to just know these things and do it, and then okay, bet cool. I did it. I'm gonna go back to God, ask for forgiveness, and then literally next week you're doing the same thing. Like, nah, you shouldn't go. You feel me? So yeah, have to speak on that just to, what I mean. Uh, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, get ready, for this event that we're going to at the end of the day. Uh, go ahead and enjoy the rest of this day, and hopefully y'all do too. Peace.